Today in the Dislist, we rank our top rides and see which park is best at Walt Disney World.
Welcome to the Dislist, the podcast that lists everything in Walt Disney World. I'm Nick.
And I'm Rob, and welcome to episode 106, where we rank our top rides and see which park is best at Walt Disney World.
Before we do that, we just want to extend a huge amount of gratitude to all of you who listen to each and every episode. You know who you are, and we do too. This episode actually is one that we kind of discussed we needed to do after I made a comment in a recent show that, you know, I think this park, I believe it was, I was talking about Epcot.
Yeah, it
said, I believe this park is actually number 2 or 1 in best rides.
And I was like, what?
And so we came up with a statistical way to do this. What we're going to do, we're going to rank our top 10 rides. Now, we are not going to do the long form ranking like we typically do. We're going to do it pretty quick, like, hey, this is my whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tally the votes based on this. The number 10 ride gets 1 point, number 9 gets 2, all the way up to the number 1 ride, which gets 10 points. Whichever park has the most points thereby becomes our favorite park. Now, I instructed Rob, and I tried my best to do the same for myself. It's hard to do this, but I went through and picked the rides that I want to, like, these are the 10 rides. If somebody told me you only get to ride 10 rides.
Me too.
This is what you do. And then if somebody told me 9, okay, that's, you know, and so which one do I cut? And that's how I did this.
Me too.
That way I'm not going, oh, I really want this place to come out on top. Yeah. I didn't do that. So it's going to be interesting.
And you'll see. I mean, based on people that listen who are regulars they're going to see some familiar ones. But yeah, I think the interesting thing is where we put them. Mm-hmm. And like, for me, I'm very happy and
yeah. I think that you're gonna have some rides on your list very high that aren't even on my list, and that's fine.
Yes, yeah.
But and that's okay.
And that's okay.
So as this episode's coming out, I'm actually in Disney. So you know, it's kind of cool. Last night we hung out. So today is July 5th. We had our July 4th, our annual July 4th get-together.
Right, and you're not in Disney this minute.
No.
You're still here in Western New York.
Correct.
Me. Yeah.
But in less than 48 hours, I will be in Florida. My flight lands at like 8:45.
Are you flying out of Buffalo?
I am.
Okay.
Yep. So
I think we are. I'm pretty sure that we are too.
We will be in Florida at this point. But we were talking last night about a whole bunch of stuff. Podcast related, non-podcast related. Mm-hmm. I have family who was down there for the 4th. They were in Magic Kingdom for the 4th. They did Epcot the night before, and they did Magic Kingdom the night of the 4th. The fireworks pictures that were blowing up on their Facebook feeds were like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. Rob didn't die this year at my house.
You got to tell that story quick, or maybe I do.
I think we told it. We even posted a reel of it.
Yeah.
Rob, we have this friend Mark.
Well, this is for new listeners.
Yeah. We have this friend Mark who likes to bring fireworks that some of them may or may not be legal in the state of New York.
Speaking of which, there's billboards now around, at least through Rochester, when I drove through Rochester the other day, which is the city next to Buffalo. And there was a giant billboard for fireworks, but it was a Pennsylvania fireworks company. Did you see that?
I have seen it, yes.
So continue. Yeah. It's legal in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, so basically in New York, you can have sparklers, you can have what they call fountains. There's height restrictions, nothing that leaves the ground. So our friend Mark purchased these things called ladybugs that were supposed to just like spin so fast that they'd go up in the air. They're about 4 inches, would you say? 4 or 5 inches in diameter?
A little bigger than a softball, I think.
Yeah, okay. That's a good, And they would just spin and hover. As it turns out, one of the 4 that he purchased did as it was supposed to do. But one of them made for the most comical thing I've ever... Rob entered the Matrix. It was was it last year or 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
And this thing spun so fast and it hovered off the ground and then slightly turned on an angle, and its thrust was no longer keeping it off the ground. It was now moving it to Rob's face at a high rate of speed.
Oh, yeah.
It was not explosive. So, like, I don't want you people thinking, like, well, you guys are telling us about, like, basically your Darwin Awards.
No, it reminded me of if I were a pitcher and I threw a ball and there's a line drive right at my face.
Yeah, the thing was not going to explode in your face. It was just going to hit you.
Yeah.
And that's why, I mean, we didn't, and it really, they were innocent. They were supposed to hover off the ground by like 10 inches, and that was it.
And spin and shoot out, sparkles or whatever.
There's a video out there. You go look at our old reels, and if not, I will find it and repost it
somewhere. Because I was filming it was spinning.
Yeah, and it shot right at your face, and it was the film looks like the movie made The Matrix from Keanu Reeves' point of view.
Yeah,
because he's ducking and diving.
It flew right at me, and luckily I have good reaction speed. And I would say average to above average. I'm not incredible, but the thing was coming right at me. And if you know the scene that Nick's talking about in The Matrix where Keanu Reeves, Neo, like bends backwards.
Yeah.
And the bullets kind of like go all around him. That's essentially what happened.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't drop fast enough. I just pushed backwards and kind of arched my spine. I don't know how else to describe it, but it didn't hit me.
Yeah. I
was like an inch away from hitting me.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I just remember thinking, what the heck just happened? But anyhow, we were talking last night about the podcast. We were talking about a whole bunch of cool stuff.
Drone show versus fireworks.
Drone show versus fireworks. Can we mix them?
Yeah. Cost savings for the park.
Yeah. What is your take? Would you want them to move that drone show they're testing, or I'm convinced it's a test.
Mm-hmm.
Would you want them to move that to Animal Kingdom as their nighttime spectacular, or would you like to see them do something more along the lines of Disneyland Paris, where the drones are actually part of the castle show?
Where would it be? Would it be where they used to do Rivers of Light in that sort of?
They could do it there. They could do it around
the Toaster Bowl or whatever it's called.
They could do it in there. They could do it over at the Tree of Life, because they could almost look like little fireflies.
Well, I feel like if they do it above kind of the area where they used to do the Rivers of Light, and in conjunction with projections on the Tree of Life, that would give you multiple places to sit. So if you're standing in front of the Tree of Life, huge area, right?
Yeah.
You can see the projections, and if they have the drones high enough, you can see both. Or if you don't get a good spot, and you're over in that kind of that bowl area there, and you're sitting, you can watch the drone show from there. So it's like that could almost be like overflow seating. If bottom line is you get to sit over there. If you want to stand and watch the Tree of Life show, go for it.
Yeah.
If you're tired at the end of the day and you want to take a load off, go sit over in the Toaster Bowl.
Yeah. I'm the main reason that I really want them to move this to Animal Kingdom is because it would then force them to keep Animal Kingdom open later.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a neglected park when it comes to that.
Yeah. So people can see Pandora at night, too.
Yeah. You almost have to, in order to see Pandora at night, you almost have to, A, be there in the winter, and B, get in line for Flight of Passage at the very end of the day.
Yeah.
Go through Flight of Passage, and then hope when you get out, it's dark enough.
Well, I was sitting next to you last night, and we were, actually, at this point, I think you were still letting off some of the legal fireworks.
Yes, yeah, we didn't have anything
which was great and a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I looked down at my watch, and it was 9:17.
Yeah.
And there's still like not a blue sky, but like I could see everybody and see everything around me.
Yeah, like noise ordinance, you can't really be doing that after 10.
Yeah.
And so it was still 9:15. It was still light enough that you could see me walk up to the firework and like light it.
But then you saved a couple of the ones your daughter was excited about until we actually had. It was dark out.
Yeah, it was right around 10.
But it was a lot of fun. We had a good time.
Yeah. So this week coming up, Peter Pan's flight closes.
Yeah.
There's been some speculation about why.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they're taking the scene out?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I do too.
I do.
I wonder if they haven't even said they're taking the scene out because they don't want to have to deal with the pushback.
I think it's going to be one of those things where they just reopen it and it's not there.
Yep,
and it'll be it'll be covered by, the Disney social media. Not, let me be more specific. The influencers, not Disney's social media. I misspoke. I apologize.
So, creators.
Correct. Mm-hmm. I think those are going to be the people that cover it. Certain people who are part of those creators, I know, really like to create clickbait and create something out of nothing, which we talked about before we started the episode. And B, there's a lot of, I don't know if a lot, I don't think that's fair for me to say because I don't really know if there's a lot. I know there's a few that are furious anytime there's any change or anything political causes change.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't see this as a political thing so much as like,
well, people make it that. I don't.
Yeah, no, I know, but what I'm saying is it is a culturally insensitive like scene. Well, if you don't know what we're talking about the scene with the Native Americans.
Right.
I think that people who are defending that being there as, well, it's part of the heritage or it's paying homage to those who were here before us, I don't think really get that that's not how they see it for the most part. There are some Native Americans, there are some people who are indigenous who do see it as a sign of respect, but they're in the minority. We're going through stuff in New York State where schools have to switch their names because they, the Indians or the Braves or this one still boggles my mind that people let it get this far, but the Redskins, right? And
they use that moniker.
Yeah, there's a school.
Raiders had to change.
There's a school in New York State whose mascot was the Eskimos. Now, first off, that's not even what the Inuit people go by anymore, and they haven't for years. It's been considered derogatory for a while. This school in New York State complained. The people complained because they switched them to like the Wolves or something like that,
mm-hmm.
and they said that's so silly. There's no wolves left in New York State. And the headline writes itself because last I checked, the Eskimos never lived in New York State either.
Correct.
So anyway, it's a little bit off the rails there, but my point is more like
cultural sensitivity.
Cultural sensitivity is not a bad thing. And by the way, like there's other better scenes they could replace that with.
Yeah, there's plenty from that movie. And I truly have not watched that movie since, I couldn't even tell you. I don't want to say since I was a kid, but I probably watched it when my kids were younger, which was probably, maybe
I want to say it's been
ago.
10 years since I've watched it.
But I remember there's
No, it's been less than that. We watched it as like 5 years ago.
I don't want to exactly misquote the title, but I feel like there's a song, What Makes the Red Man Red, or something similar to that, which I don't know. I'm not the expert on that, but I'm not so sure that's a culturally appropriate.
Yeah. Look, I think that there's more wrong with that scene than there was with the scenes in Splash Mountain, in my opinion. Because at least the scenes in Splash Mountain were kind of veiled with like animated characters. Not the case with Peter Pan.
Well, and I think we can end on this too is, Walt himself said it's not a museum. And they can go in and make these changes and people can get as mad as they want, but they can do whatever they want.
Yeah. It's going to be, honestly, I think that it's going to be it's going to be closed down for a while. And the fact that it's going to be closed down for a while isn't because they're cleaning and painting. They're repling that scene.
Yeah, that's fine.
Whatever. Good for them.
I wonder if they're going to add in, I'm trying to remember because it was about a year and a half ago now when I was in California at Disneyland. I feel like there was additional projections and things that maybe they'll upgrade to.
I would love that.
I feel like there was like extra pixie dust and things that they used with projection.
Cool. That'd be cool.
If I'm remembering that right. Listeners, if you've been there recently, send us a message and see if I'm right or I'm just imagining things. And that's okay if I'm just imagining things. I won't be sad.
It'll be like when Spider-Man was actually flying through the air.
Yes. I thought it was real. They got me.
All right. We're going to head off to the halftime show. This week it's going to be a little bit different. Instead of shouting out an individual patron, if you go to patreon.com/dislistpod, Now, you can do it when you listen to this one, but you definitely want to be doing this. We've decided we keep telling people, join for free. And the perk is, if you're a free member, is you get an email that says, hey, an episode release. Well, that's not really a perk. So what can we do for people? And so what our perk for free people is, and for everybody, anybody who's a patron, whether it's a free patron, a paid level patron, if they go to, and when they sign up, if they send us a message on Instagram, hey, I just signed up for Patreon, here's my Instagram handle, then what we are doing is adding them to our close friends group, which means that when we're making content in the parks, or when, maybe right before we go on, to record a show, we hop on a live with just our close friends, which is now all the people from Patreon who wish to be part of that. And just a cool little way to include everyone, because we do feel like there should be a perk for, hey, you even took the time to go to patreon.com and do that. So patreon.com/dislistpod, sign up for free. That would be a great way for you to keep up to date with us, but also you get added to our close friends list. And when Rob and I are making content in the parks this summer, you'll be able to see some exclusive stuff as well. We'll talk to you after the halftime. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about our top 10 rides, but we're not talking about them the way we typically do. Instead, we're going to list them quickly and use a point system to determine what park is really our favorite park.
All right, so when I list them, you want me to say the ride and then the park? I mean, you're obviously going to know that, but will it make life easier?
I think for the people at home, it would make life easier so that they know, and maybe they want to keep track.
Okay.
Because not everybody might, know the obscure rides that we're going to name.
Well, maybe. I'm waiting to see if you put Tiki Room on your list.
Tiki Room did
you
not.
thought about it when I said that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, shoot. No, Tiki Room did not make my list. But, there are some things that people might not. Oh, wait, is that there or is that there? So,
All right.
Like, for instance, Triceratops Spin, where even is that?
Where is it?
Yeah, I don't even know where it is.
It's not long for this world, I don't think.
No, it's definitely not. So you want to start? We'll start at 10, work our way up.
Are we A-Bing it, or am I doing all 10?
I think we'll A-B it, but we won't really talk about it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So you can go ahead.
Number 10 for me is Pirates of the Caribbean at Magic Kingdom.
Okay. Number 10, Pirates, huh? Number 10 for me is Slinky Dog Dash.
Okay.
At Hollywood Studios.
It didn't make my list.
Okay.
Just wanted to throw that out there. I don't know. It just didn't.
Okay.
Number 9 is same park, Tower of Terror. Well, same park is what you said. Tower of Terror at MGM Studios. Just kidding, Hollywood.
I question whether or not that was an honest mistake or if you actually thought for a second MGM.
Well, I was thinking it's because our most recent episode we did.
Yes.
I talked so much about MGM Studios.
Okay. So, side note.
That's why it was fresh in my mind.
A guy who runs a Golden Girls Instagram account.
Yeah.
Signed up for our Patreon so he could do the close friends thing. But he runs a Golden Girls fan page.
I was just talking about Golden Girls in the last episode.
I understand that.
I wonder if he heard me.
Yes, he did, because I said, oh my God, do you know how much we love talking about the Golden Girls? And he's like, yes, I love it every time. And then he reminded me, don't forget, you can see some of their handprints out in front of the Chinese theater.
I will go and check that.
Yes. So I just thought that was funny.
Very cool.
My number 9 is a ride I certainly will never skip, and that is the Safari, Kilimanjaro Safari.
Cool.
Over at Animal Kingdom. Okay, so what do you got for your number 8?
My number 8 is Remy's Ratatouille Adventure at Epcot.
Oh, good choice. My number 8 is Runaway Railway over in Hollywood Studios.
My number 7 is Tiana's Bayou Adventure / Splash Mountain. I have not been on Tiana's Bayou Adventure, but I'm basing it on the ride system and how much I enjoy Splash Mountain and how it's set up. So I think that's fair, because the new ride, although let's look at it as an overlay, but the ride system's the same, and I enjoyed that ride system, and I feel like it's number 7 for me, and it's at Magic Kingdom. What do you think? Think that's fair?
I think it's more than fair. It didn't make my list only because the way I did my list, and I know you did your list the same way too, is what are rides I must do? What are the top 10 rides I must do? Like if I was told you only get 10 rides on this trip.
Yeah.
And I didn't miss going on Splash because I don't necessarily like being wet in the parks.
I love the drop. I love the animatronics.
I love the ride. I love the ride. And it is classic. My point is, it didn't make my list because I don't need to do it. But I am very excited to do it.
Mm-hmm.
My number 7 is Remy's. So we were flip-flopped 7 and 8 there, but that's pretty close. Yep. So Remy's Ratatouille Adventure over in Epcot.
My number 6 is Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom. And that's, it's a great ride, but some people, it's their number 1. For me, it's number 6. So
yeah, it actually, this was one that right before I said I need to edit some stuff. This is not on my list, believe it or not.
You had a couple like Mickey and Minnie's is not on mine, and
yeah, I love Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
That's good.
But yeah. So number 6 for me is Big Thunder Mountain. Big Thunder Mountain is I don't know, just one of my favorites. So Big Thunder Mountain, number 6.
And that is my number 5, Thunder Mountain at Magic Kingdom there.
Ooh.
That's so we had those ones back to back. That's my number 5.
Okay. Number 5 for me is going to shock you. Rise of the Resistance. Which is way higher than you probably thought I was going to put Rise of the Resistance.
Yes. But I'm also laughing because that is my number 4.
Okay.
So we went back to back 2 in a row.
All right.
That is my number 4. Rise of the Resistance at MGM. Oh, no, it was never at MGM Studios. So it's Hollywood Studios.
Yeah. So I want people to understand. It might seem like we're going fast. The whole point of this show is not necessarily this. It's our reactions afterward about what our favorite parks are.
Right.
So my number 4 is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. I love that ride.
I went back and forth on that.
It has some very nostalgic moments for me because my son and I rode it so many times that first trip. And I get that for some people, it's like, that's a short ride. It's not that great of a ride.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with those, but for me, it's number 4.
Yeah. That's essentially what I was going to say. I love the animatronics in the middle and at the end, which is great, but
yeah,
didn't quite make the cut. Top 20, definitely, but not on this one.
No, it makes sense. I get why.
Yep.
Okay, so what do we got for 3?
Number 3 is, I think it's one of the most underrated rides, and people forget how good it is, and it's one of our friends' number 1 favorite ride, and that's Expedition Everest at Animal Kingdom. It's an awesome ride.
Yeah, it's hard to get mad at Expedition Everest.
Even when it's broken, it's great.
Yeah.
Even
when it's broken?
It's always broken.
Even though it's broken.
Correct. That is the right. Yes, correct.
My number 3 is one that you couldn't possibly have on your list. Well, maybe you could.
Tiki Room?
No. Jeez, the Tiki Room shows up again. It's something that you've never done, but I'm telling you, it'll instantly become one of your favorites.
Tron.
Yeah. Speaking of short,
cool,
and sweet, it is really good, though.
Yeah, I'm okay with that,
So for me, Tron is over at Magic Kingdom is my number 3 ride in the parks.
Remind me, I have a question about virtual queue when we're done with this. I don't want to derail everything, but I have a Tron virtual queue question for you.
Sure.
The 3 was Expedition Everest. 2, no surprise to anyone, maybe, is the Haunted Mansion in Magic Kingdom, which I absolutely love, and it did not make the number 1 spot. I'm going to assume that we have the same number 1s, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I'm also...
Because you know what I haven't said.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious what your number 2 is, and if it's Living with the Land.
It is not.
Oh,
it is not.
It's not even on your list?
It's not.
I'm very surprised.
I know. It's close. It's probably 12.
Wow.
It's probably 12.
I'm very surprised.
Yeah, I love that ride.
I know you do.
But if you told me I only have 10 rides to go on, I'm going to skip Living with the Land. But I'm definitely not going to skip my favorite roller coaster outside of the one that is our number 1.
Yeah.
And Rob from Ear Scout's favorite roller coaster
Expedition
as well,
Everest.
And your number 3 ride, Expedition Everest.
So we're back to back on that one.
Yeah, Expedition Everest is amazing. Yes, I love that ride.
It is.
I love it. So, all right, you want
even though it's broken.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, and I'll just go ahead and put the 10-pointer at Epcot because our number 1 ride is
Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
Yeah, that's an easy.
No matter what song you get, even if it's a song you don't like as much, it's still the best ride.
Yeah. So, it's one of those rides that, like, I don't even know how to describe the how smooth. Like I don't know how to compare it to anything. It's as smooth as a dark ride.
Yeah.
Like to me,
it's the smoothest ride I've ever
I mean,
been
I know
on.
you're moving really fast, so not like a dark ride, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you don't feel that rumbling of the track. Now, it'll be interesting because now we're in summer 3 of that thing operating.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it'll be noticeably rougher this, because, like Space Mountain wasn't always Space Mountain.
You'll
know what I
find
mean?
out in a couple days.
I
Here.
will.
The closest thing, and this kind of popped in my head when we were talking about it, is the closest thing to Guardians is, I don't think you've done this ride. It's in Universal Studios. It's the Escape from Gringotts ride, because the carts will rotate.
Yeah.
But I don't believe it's that smooth.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't possibly. I don't think it is either. From what I remember seeing, like the Universal ride throughs, because
It's hard to do a ride through for that one because it's 3D and most of it is so dark.
Yeah,
that's a hard one to watch a ride through of.
Yeah.
So
you had a question about Tron.
Yes. Do you do the math already?
Yeah.
Holy
I'm a math
cow.
teacher.
Sheesh. I was gonna go and grab some Jeopardy style music to play in between, but you're already done.
No.
Okay, so my day when I'm going to the Magic Kingdom, there are now 2 virtual queues. There's one for Tiana and there's one for Tron.
Yeah.
Can you do both, or do you have to choose?
No, you have to choose for virtual queue. You cannot hold 2 virtual queues at the same time. Now, if you have a virtual queue, my understanding is this: if you have a virtual queue for Tron, let's say you get an early boarding group and you get called and you do that, then if you're done with that before the 1:00 next batch comes out, you could then book Tiana's. That's my understanding.
Okay.
However, you cannot hold 2 virtual queues at the same time. That said, lightning lanes of Tiana are, on average, over the last 2 weeks, 1 week, whatever it's been, have been 10-minute waits, whereas virtual queue have been 30-minute waits on average.
Okay.
So I got those numbers from at Raising Mini Me's, who this woman Becky, she runs a really cool Disney themed creator Instagram where she posts a lot of statistics and stuff, but she also happens to work with Len Testa and Touring Plans and does she actually is the lead author on the unofficial guide to Walt Disney World.
Let's get her on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. So she had posted stuff about those statistics in the first week. And then I read a couple other things too about it, that if you can swing a lightning lane is the way to go.
The part I had heard that you didn't say yet was that when you purchase Genie Plus, for example, that they're going in like 22 seconds.
Yeah, you have to get a lightning lane super quick.
So I am staying on property, but off property. The hotel I am staying at it is considered a good neighbor, but it also isn't. It depends on what you're talking about, like parking, no, early entry, yes. And then as far as I know, based on all the graphics that I've seen online and Ear Scouts Rob and the other people who've been making great content on this, my hotel, the Wyndham Garden Disney Springs Hotel where we're staying, is not one of the ones where I can do 7 days out. I can only do 3 days out if I get lightning lane.
That's what I've heard. Yep.
So my chances may be pretty slim for snagging a lightning lane for Tiana.
Yep.
But
maybe the virtual queue will still be there.
Yeah. And then I would choose that, and then maybe
maybe not though. When do you plan on going to Magic Kingdom? Because it's 3 days plus your whole trip.
Yeah. Magic Kingdom is our second day. Our first day is Animal Kingdom. Second day is Magic Kingdom. So there's a chance.
Yeah, and I don't even know how they're gonna know, like how long you're there for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you start booking, it's because you're off site, so they don't have necessarily.
They have my ticket info, and since I purchased tickets, they're available between A and B.
Yeah, we're good.
So they know when A is. So
I'm not saying people should hack the system, but a way to hack the system is that if you buy a 4-day ticket and they're good for 2 weeks, say, or however long. I forget how long the 4-day tickets are good. I think it's 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
First use and then last. If you buy a 4-day ticket, you put your first day.
You won't even be there.
Where you're not even there, and you book 3 days in advance, but you have the 3 plus 14, so you're actually booking 17 days out. I'm not saying people should do that. I'm just saying that Disney probably should have thought of that.
It would work.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's like people walking their reservations for us.
I figured it's related / not related.
It is.
Plus, we have a little extra time in this episode.
So, I've got the results.
Okay.
I'm going to.
Do I? Here, I'm gonna. We have a little music for this.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. So that's a throwback for those of you that, if you listen, we sometimes have end credits, very similar to some Marvel. That's a post credits scene from almost a few years now.
Yeah.
Your number 4 park. I actually am shocked. This is based on rides alone.
Mm-hmm.
Your number 4 park based on rides alone is Hollywood Studios, which you only gave 9 points to.
Okay.
So
accurate thus far.
Yeah.
As far as what?
I'm shocked.
You are?
I am.
Because you thought it would be higher because it has better rides?
I've often said that Hollywood Studios has great rides and just a bad atmosphere.
It's a 10. It's top 10 though. And I'm a nostalgia guy, so I put some wacky stuff in there. It's gonna track higher for you. I know.
If listeners needed better evidence as to the fact that like we are two totally different human beings, this ranking is going to show it.
If they listen to the show, they know we're two. Totally.
Yeah, I know. So, Hollywood Studios is also my last one.
Okay. And
the weird thing is, you had 2 rides.
You had 3.
I had 3.
Yeah.
So 3 rides made my top 10. So now I'm questioning whether my statistical methods worked. But anyway,
I'm going to trust you because I don't know.
Hollywood Studios came in with a 10 for me. You had a 9. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it tracks, but I had 3 rides in my list that were Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
So
you had Mickey and you had Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. You
Slinky.
had Slinky and Rise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, all right. Well, it is what it is. Ready for your number 2?
Yeah. Do I guess?
No, did you hear what I said? So we just did your number 4.
Oh.
Ready for your number 2?
They're tied?
You got a tie.
Okay. So Epcot, I'm assuming it's Epcot and Animal Kingdom.
Epcot and Animal Kingdom are tied for you.
Okay. I think that's fair.
13 points.
I really like Epcot a lot. And I know it's your favorite. Like as far as if what park you pick, it's your favorite. I'm not saying statistical wise, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But for me, I don't know. Animal Kingdom is so cool. And I feel like it's a lot of people's least favorite park, or it's a half-day park, or I don't know. I love the vibe. So I feel like I'm in the jungle.
Yeah, you were tied with Epcot. Animal Kingdom is my number 3.
Okay. Now I'm really curious what happens here for you. I mean, for me, I think people, if you're following along, you probably know what my number 1 is. But I really am curious about
Put it this way.
Yeah.
I may have been being a little sarcastic when I said we're totally different people. Because my number 2 is Epcot. I thought for sure it was going to come out on top.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I want to, so let's list them out.
Mm-hmm.
Rob's number 1, Magic Kingdom. Number 2 and number 3 were tied, Epcot and Animal Kingdom. Number 4 was Hollywood Studios. Mine went Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios. Same order except for his were tied in the middle.
Yeah, but still the same.
And what I have to say though is, if you were to look at the numbers that make up these and find the standard deviations of the sets so the gaps, right? They are, the reason things are where they are for you are because you picked really quite a few at Magic Kingdom that were high on your list, higher on your list, right?
Like Pirates was 10, but then I also had Haunted Mansion in Thunder Mountain up high. Tiana was up high.
Yeah. So, like, the numbers there work out to be that yours were all consistently high from that park. Mine were just kind of all in the middle. So mine were bunched together. I think the reason that I looked at Epcot, and I really thought this was coming out different. I blinded it. I tried my best to like just be like, I'm not going to think about it. Epcot for me, I think has
the best rides for you.
Well,
you've said that. Let's take a minute and pause and go back.
But I only put 2 on my list.
Well,
this would be a different list if I did 20.
Well, let's talk about where this idea for the episode came from. You and I were having a discussion, and you were saying
on air, we were talking
that Epcot had the best rides. And then your idea came, well, let's just put what our top 10 are and let's see where they fall.
So here's what I believe what I said was, I think Epcot gets slept on for rides because it was somebody had said, I know what it was. We were talking about my mother has as a friend who was going to go on a trip and said, well, we don't even have to go to Epcot. There's nothing fun there for the kids.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
I said, what the heck? Some of the best rides are there. You know what? Like you talked about Flight of Passage not being on my list, right?
Yeah.
Or Living with the Land not being on my list. Frozen isn't on my list. Those are all things that would be like 11, 12, 13.
Right.
And then it goes to like the Small World, Peter Pan, Haunted Mansion, like down there. And because of that, I think if we were to have expanded this to 20, and you know what makes me so angry about this is right now my son is listening to this, and when I said the top 10, that's not enough rides to figure that out. And I said, 10's fine. Statistically, it's fine. He's like, that's too, I'm like, it's big enough sample size. He's like, no, you got to go more. And I think he's right because now I look at this and I'm just trying to grasp at straws for why this came out differently than I thought it would.
So maybe what we do, when you return, we're going to do a trip report.
Yeah.
But I think maybe even can do a Patreon episode with the sequel to this.
Mm-hmm. But see, how often do we say Hollywood Studios has great rides, we just don't like the park, right? We say that a lot, right?
Yeah.
Hollywood Studios was last and we were ranking rides. Maybe you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I wonder, are those rides low for us because of our dislike for the park?
Yeah, maybe. Like Rock and Roller Coaster, we make the jokes about Aerosmith and everything, but the ride's fun.
Right. It's probably in my top 15.
Slinky's fun. I don't love waiting in that heat.
The longest I've ever waited for that ride was with you, and we were in a lightning lane.
And somebody had a heart attack.
Well, I don't know if it was a heart attack.
I don't know if they
had a heat emergency.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. Yeah. Heart attack. Yeah. Slinky was really exciting. They had a heart attack. No, it was a heat because it was, and that was at like 9 a.m. They were having a heat emergency. That's crazy. I just find this kind of interesting, and I think I would have guessed that we would be different than this. I'm not shocked Magic Kingdom was your number 1. I could have picked that because I knew some of the stuff that was going to be way up high for you.
But overall, I have a Magic Kingdom at 2, 5, 7, and 10.
Right. You have a good spread.
It is. It's spread out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was very honest with these. This is how much I love each one of these. I wasn't stacking the deck to make sure Magic Kingdom won.
Oh, no.
But it's also no surprise that they have the most rides there and the most things to do. And then it's the most popular park for a reason.
Like, I'm going to read to you the scores because this is why I was kind of being sarcastic about the different people. Magic Kingdom earned 20 of your points. Mm-hmm. Magic Kingdom earned 20 of my points.
Weird.
Epcot earned 13 of your points. Epcot earned 14 of my points.
Jeez.
Animal Kingdom, 13 of your points. Animal Kingdom, 11 of my points. Hollywood Studios, 9 of your points. Hollywood Studios, 10 of my points. Like we didn't have the same rides.
Well,
we just picked. I find this interesting.
We may end up editing this out, but let's add 5 more and see what happens. Do you want to or no?
Sure.
All right, so
Yeah.
we're going to keep this in.
Let's-
We're not going to edit this out.
Okay, let's go ahead and pause it.
So I'm going to pause it. Let's add in 5 and see
Yeah,
what happens.
see what happens.
Okay,
Okay,
we're
go ahead.
pausing.
I can't believe you're keeping with the old.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, it's, you know,
it is
special occasion.
It is a funny thing for that we talked about on the 100th and stuff like that. But so we did it off the air. Let's quickly read through so people know what we put 15
Do you
to
want me to do
11.
you want me to do all
Just-
15
just
or
do-
just my recent ones?
Just do the recent ones you added on.
We're going to A, B, or want me to do...
Just go through.
Okay, 15 is Frozen.
Mm-hmm.
Not the stage show, but I probably should have said that.
Yeah.
You assume that it's
Frozen Ever
After, the
Yeah.
ride through.
Mhm.
Okay. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is 14. 13 is Test Track, which we didn't mention at all and is closed now, but 12 is Slinky Dog Dash. And number 11 is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Okay. And the ones I added, 15 for me was Living with the Land.
Oh, good. It made your list.
It did.
14 is Tiki Room.
No. 14 is
I had to, sorry.
14 is Space Ranger Spin.
Oh.
I love that ride.
Okay, cool.
13 is Pirates. 12 is Frozen, and 11 was Flight of Passage.
Okay.
So, our new results are Rob's number 1 park is still Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
Not a shock.
But I don't have a tie for number 2.
You no longer have a tie for number 2.
See, I like this though. I'm okay with which either it is, but I don't really want to tie anymore.
Number 2 for you is Epcot.
Okay, I'm happy with that.
Number 3 for you
Is Hollywood Studios
is now Hollywood Studios.
Wow,
And Animal Kingdom is number 4.
wow. So there's quite a bit of change for me,
Yeah, because you no longer are tied,
No
and
tie.
you flipped.
and I flipped too. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready for the huge change in mine?
Really?
Magic Kingdom 1,
Okay. Oh, that's the same.
Epcot 2, also the same.
Yep.
Hollywood Studios is 3.
Wow.
Animal
What?
Kingdom is 4.
Wow.
We matched up again.
Wow.
I thought for sure adding those 5. This just goes to show the sample size was big enough.
Okay.
So I was right.
All right. Wow.
Yeah. Now my Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios are like separated by a point.
Yeah.
But it also makes me feel a little bit better because I said we always talk about how there's great rides at Hollywood Studios. We just don't like the park, but it still was dead last for us. So the only thing that's changed is that it jumped above Animal Kingdom for me and you. I will say this: Animal Kingdom is not about rides, so this is kind of selling it short. If we had done like things to do, top 15 things to do in the parks, that would change things. But that's not what this was. This was a show that came about because I made a statement, and I stood by that statement until today, that Epcot has the best rides. And I think...
It has our favorite ride.
Yeah.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if they were to put in 2 other e-ticket, let's say they redo Imagination and it's Inside Out. Okay. And it's awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
That could tip the scales.
Oh, a trackless ride system Inside Out?
Would be incredible.
When you're riding, if you're riding in the little... The scooter from the first one where... Was his name Bing Bong?
Yes.
Okay.
The pink elephant?
Yeah.
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 We love that character in our family.
So, like, if you're riding around some like, trackless ride system, something like that, oh, absolutely. That could take over.
Mm-hmm.
Mission Space, if they redid Mission Space to literally anything.
Star Wars.
Well, yeah, but literally anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
You make it into a X-wing dogfight.
yeah, maybe they finally open up that Germany ride we were promised.
Yeah, or they were going to do Mount Fuji.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they were going to take.
Yep.
I'm blanking. What the heck is it called in Disneyland? I'm supposed to be the Disneyland expert here.
Matterhorn?
The Matterhorn. Yeah.
Yeah, just clone it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another sip of the coffee here. Sheesh.
So I'm shocked, but I'm not, I guess. I really thought Epcot was going to, because I like Magic Kingdom, but it's like, eh. But, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. If Tron is really good.
I didn't even put Tron. Well, not that it would matter, but
Yeah. Tron's really good.
mm-hmm.
Big Thunder Mountain's really good. You've got Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, really good. Space Mountain didn't make my list, but when it's smooth, it's good. I didn't even put I did have one. I had Pirates on there. in our second round, but like dark rides there. I think people think of Magic Kingdom as like the park for kids, and it's not. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I see a lot of Disney dad shirts walking around. So
yeah, most expensive day ever.
Gotta be. If you have one of those shirts, there's a place you can file it, and it's it's a circular file.
Yeah.
Usually has like a bag liner, and then
it's okay if it's okay if it's like literally you're making fun of those people. If it's worn in an ironic way, I don't mind that you have it. If you are wearing it because you're mad that you spent money to be there, come on. You're at Disney. Have fun. So this was interesting. Like I would have guessed a little bit different. I will say that us coming out the same was probably the biggest shock for me, especially when we did it the second time around.
Yeah.
So you just pointed at something that you brought up on the screen.
Yeah, because it's the end of the episode and we're wrapping up here. And one of the things I wanted to mention, I want to derail what you just said, but I'm kind of preparing for the end here. And that is, here's what's coming in the next 2 months. It's going to be a great 2 months.
Oh my gosh.
And we say that all the time because we do a lot of fun stuff, but the rest of July here is going to be Trip Report from Nick. But what I don't want to miss, and we're going to bring this up right now, and I'm going to say it on the show so we don't forget it, is we need to do a D23 prediction show and what we think is going to happen.
Yeah.
Some of them are going to be right. Some of them are going to be wrong. And I hope the ones we're right on that we're going to be very excited about. So I looked it up. D23 is, if you are listening and you don't know what D23 is, I always have to remember context here.
Not everybody is a freak like us.
Right. So D23 is we'll call it a giant convention or festival out in Anaheim. And what they're going to do is they're going to announce kind of the future, at least within the next couple of years for the Disney parks.
Yeah.
So I want to we've talked about it and I want to make sure we actually do it, is we do a couple trip reports from you. We'll do this prediction show before I leave.
Yeah.
I will be gone the first week of August. I'll be in Disney, so you can look for me during that time. And then when I get back, so 9, 10, and 11, the day I get back, they're going to be making some huge announcements. So 9, 10, and 11 is going to be that D23.
So we'll do we'll do our prediction show. Mm-hmm. We probably would then need to do.
We'll record a couple. We'll record a reaction.
We'll record a react. There's a potential that we'll delay your trip report,
and that is fine.
Whatever we can
delay it, or honestly, the best way to do it is we should record.
We haven't even
all
talked about
once.
the fact we're trying to work our schedules out with Tom.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about this.
This guy Tom Buhlman, who is an amazing. It's an artist. It's an art what he does, but he makes shoes. He's so we're trying to get him on the show because he does some Disney themed stuff and he's a big Disney guy.
I've been talking with him all week, so it's happening sooner than later. We have a lot of content coming.
Yeah, and
good stuff.
We have other stuff that we talked about last night that we're not ready to talk about here, but that could be coming for the podcast in the future of the podcast.
Yeah,
so
good stuff.
Wow, it's going to be a fun one, guys.
Yeah. Glad you're on board.
Maybe tomorrow will be great and beautiful. And even big. It's been a great, big, beautiful.
Okay, I was like, wait, am I supposed to freestyle this last part?
No.
Is this an Eminem concert all of a sudden?
It's been a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow is just a list away.
Tune in next time, and we'll see you real soon.